preliminary hearing, first I'd like to read the appropriate law. Okay, number one, the county board shall, as soon as possible after protest is filed, meet to determine whether the protest substantially complies with GS 163-182.9 and whether it establishes probable cause to believe that a violation of election law or irregularity or misconduct has occurred. If the board determines that one or both requirements are not met, the board shall dismiss the protest. The board shall notify both the protester and the State Board of Elections. The protester may file an amended protest or may appeal to the State Board. If the board determines that both requirements are met, it shall schedule a hearing. Okay? Well, one item in this protest that we can't address is the absentee by mail ballots, which the state has accepted the investigation on that. They have told us we can acknowledge that, but we cannot comment on it. And we couldn't make an educated comment anyway because they have told us nothing, okay? Okay, at this point I'd like to introduce the county attorney.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. You are correct. The statute involved is NCGS 163-182.10A1. This is a preliminary hearing, and that it is not the full hearing. When you have a hearing, if it goes forward, the board will rule on it, whatever they rule on it. But then you would subpoena witnesses and have a full-blown hearing and testimony and everything in that regard. The petitioner, Mr. Register, will be allowed to speak and say what he says to show probable cause as to why this board should go forward. The chairman has read it, but I want to emphasize a couple of points here. Now, the petition was filed on November 22nd, and it's my position that the petition was filed in time, and that in and of itself is the first ruling. Now the second ruling is the county board shall, doesn't say may, shall, as soon as possible, after the protest is filed, meet to determine whether the protest substantially complies with NCGS 163A-182.9. That is in effect the law that says you must allege A, B, C, D, and E in the petition to even get to first base. Now, it is my ruling on that the petition substantially has met the burden and the petition is accepted. Therefore, we can go forward. If the petition had not met the burden, then we would be where we are right now. It would be over. You understand? So that both allegations in the petition, one of them is the irregularity of number 5, which says that the error in voting count or tabulation, the memory stick was stuck and software glitches. That was alleged. That's the irregularity. The other allegation is number 6, and it is alleged that irregularity and or misconduct has took place at the time of this election. So that aside, then the board is going forward and hearing Mr. Register after I speak, or the chairman, if he has something else to say in the matter. But the statute says the board must determine whether it has complied. Now, that's A. That has been done. And whether it establishes probable cause. This is what is called a probable cause here. It is probable cause must be found to substantiate whether or not Mr. Register can go forward, and he has to convince this board, or that's his what he will want to do, I'm sure, that he has alleged information that this board should go forward and have a full hearing. that hearing will be set next if that takes place. This board, I assume at the end of it, will make some motion, or somebody will, to go forward or not go forward. So that's their job, not mine. I'm just the lawyer. Now, and whether it establishes probable cause. There's two issues. One is substantially, I think the petition is substantial, and I've ruled on that, and we can go forward, and whether it establishes probable cause is his burden in a few minutes to get up and say what he wants to say. If the board determines that one or both requirements are not met, the board shall, it doesn't say may, it says it shall dismiss the petition. The board shall notify the protester and the State Board of Elections. The protester may file an amended complaint. You can come back and amend your complaint, amended protest, or may appeal to the State Board. If the board determines that both requirements are met, it shall schedule a hearing. Doesn't say may, shall. So that's where you are today. Mr. Lillum has made his opening remarks, and I'll turn it back to him. I would assume that the next, Mr. Lillum, issue would be for Mr. Register to step forward and present his case as to probable cause.
Mr. Register, step forward, please.
Is there any questions, Mr. Chairman, or any member of the board?
Anybody have anything?
Okay.
Good.
Mr. Johnson, back on number 5, you said it was irrelevant in the argument or the protest. About the membership issue, that was not alleged. That in fact happened.
Well, I'm not arguing here to argue anything. This is a professional meeting. I'm just saying, I read your complaint. This protest involves an alleged error. So I'm reading it as it stated. We want you to say what you need to say.
Where was the word alleged at?
In number 5, it says, does this protest involve an alleged error? Now, it's your position, I assume that it does, and you were going to state that, so you proceed.
The word alleged, though, is in the...
Well, I'm not, you say what you want to say. I'm not here to argue with you.
I'm not alleging that it happened. I'm stating that it did happen.
I understand that, and that's your right to do that.
Right.
So we got that clear.
So
Okay,
I want
state
the board
state what you're saying happened, okay?
Absolutely. Yeah, I was there present when the membership was switched. For whatever reason, it was full, or, I know Ms. Shaw explained it to everyone in the last meeting what happened, the building membership and why it had to be changed out. My argument is that it in fact did get changed out, and there's room for error there. This is what I'm saying. I'm not asking.
Okay.
I'm stating. Okay. Secondly, you say that the state has told you that we cannot talk about the issue of absentee ballots. The state is not even aware that this meeting is going on right now. I just got off the phone with the investigator supervisor.
No need for them to be aware of this.
No need for the state to be aware of any county name. Okay. All right. I guess that's my argument. So, I mean, I'm asking for a recount. I'm asking for these ballots not to be used. You said first off that can't be talked about because the state is
State has accepted that investigation and told us, not advised or requested, they told us not to address that because their investigation is, and I'm not going to do anything to compromise that.
Right. As well as not inform them of the meeting. Correct?
No,
should the county board not inform the state of any local meeting?
No, we inform them after the meeting.
Okay. So if they want to attend, I mean, they would have no knowledge of the meeting, is that correct?
Not at this point.
Okay. Well, I guess that about sums it up. So I guess I handle myself on the state side.
Let me ask a question clear. The results of this preliminary hearing will be forwarded to the state.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. The results of this hearing will be, that's what I wanted to clear up.
Yes.
Is that the state will
Well,
be notified
that
this took place.
And all of my concerns are about the absentee ballot. That's my primary concern. So if we can't discuss that here.
I'll answer to that one, since I was the one that was directly involved with that to begin with. All absentee ballots, during one of our previous board meetings, we had some discussion about some irregularities that we as a board felt were there, and that was a unanimous vote with the board, and all of that stuff was sent to the state. And then on Sunday of last week, the state had a hearing in which McCrory's campaign requested that the state take over all local protests, and the state said they would take none except for Bladen County, and told us that they took jurisdiction over that investigation. So anything dealing with the absentee ballots is completely out of our control. The state already has jurisdiction on that.
Okay. Any more, board have any questions?
Can we speak to the fact?
Yeah.
Does that mean that the state is going to be taking over total, of my protest? Seeing that my protest consists of ballot issues
No, they will,
or absentee ballots?
they're only taking over the absentee by mail
Okay,
protest.
that
And
is
these two protests involved here were sent forward. One of them was about a month before election day, and the other one was before election day.
but these
and the
absentee
state-
ballots were also not sent to the folks that filled them out and voted on them. They were not mailed to their residents.
Well, like I said, the state has advised us not to comment.
When we made that decision, we made the decision that anything done with an absentee have to be at 100%. So every absentee by mail is under state jurisdiction. So to re-answer your question, item 6 and anything dealing with mail absentees, we have no jurisdiction on. We cannot discuss them. We don't know the outcome of those.
Okay, being that that's my protest, does it automatically get forwarded to a state level?
That is,
Or does it just, we've already,
that is your decision based on what the outcome is here today.
okay.
You certainly have the right as to amend your protest or appeal it to the state board. Okay? Any other discussion?
I was just gonna ask, if it's, you know, if it's appropriate for us to say that there are 2 protests from this county, or 2 hearings involving ballots that have already been presented to the state. We can say that, can't we?
Yeah, I mean, that's what we said. The state has everything. It's just,
State has it.
But, right, I just wanted to, the 2
they're
complaints
intertwined.
that went there.
And they've advised us not to comment. Of course, we couldn't anyway because they had told us
You know,
not.
all the results, I understand that, but I know that a lot of publicity has gone forth about one set. And I just want for the record, for us to know that 2 complaints
Right.
have gone forth to the state.
Actually, 3.
Okay. The state has agreed to do
Yeah,
that.
the state has everything.
Right.
And the state has received them and acknowledged them.
Right.
Okay. Anything else? Do I have a motion?
I move, go ahead.
I'm sorry, go ahead. You're first.
I move that we move to the next stage with it, that there is probable cause, and we move forward to the next stage.
Do I have a second? Have any more motions?
I make a motion that we dismiss it based upon there's not probable cause dealing with the software glitch because we were able to account for every vote accordingly. And the rest of it, the state already has, so there's nothing that we can act upon. So I make a motion that we dismiss the protest as it is.
I second.
For vote. You
We
got a
need to
motion?
vote on,
Well, you
on
got a
this.
motion and a second, now
Yes.
they call for the vote.
all in favor? All
No.
against? Okay. Okay. And Mr. Johnson, I assume that you will notify the state board.
I'll draft, order, and
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Guess we can move on to next item. Continuing the count of male absentees. We have one, and that wound up
You
being.
got it wrong. You got an old one.
I got a, okay.
That
Okay, resolve one provisional ballot with Shaw Mill Road address from last meeting. Okay, that's the one that wound up being in Robertson County, right?
That is
Is that
I
correct.
don't understand. Is it a mistake?
Mr. Chairman, there was one that we had the very last, at the very, very end, as y'all guys were feeding in the final male absentees that, Gina Ward, my deputy, had to do some research on. She actually called, the director for GIS, which was Alicia Evans, to verify, and Alicia sent her some information pertaining to that particular address and a map, which indicates that that address that we had that was on Shaw Mill Road was in fact outside of Bladen County. So that was the only one that we had that we needed to clear up actually.
And according to this, she's been moved for more than 30 days, right?
Absolutely.
Then I moved it out of the county. She's out of county and it's not even 30-day move.
What else was okay?
Second?
Yes, sir.
Second, okay. Okay. Okay, next item, email from Caitlin Love in reference to forthcoming order and guidance.
This is just an email, Mr. Chairman, that I received at the very, close to yesterday afternoon that I included in y'all's packet.
Is this short one here?
Yeah.
Okay, any questions on that?
Well, simply in clear language, what does this really say? I'm reading the words, but what,
I mean, there's gonna be another email. That's about what it means to
did an
me.
email say
There'll be
email
another-
is coming, or what, I mean, I don't,
And
Yes.
we,
I
and we
don't
do
get-
have something forthcoming, we do have something that came, late last night, it was an order from the state, but it
Right.
wasn't inclusive in this particular meeting, so, I will forward that to y'all guys.
Alright.
you're not privy to what this is on.
Well, it's an emergency meeting, we can't talk about it. We don't talk
This is
about
an emergency meeting, so we can't discuss anything that's not on the agenda.
By inference, it is on it is included in yours, it's saying it, it's just saying something
Okay,
else.
do you have
By
what came in?
inference, and this doesn't say that.
I don't have a problem with addressing.
All this says is, you know, I'm gonna
I
send you
know.
another email that's gonna say something.
Do you have that with you?
Yeah, I can get that.
Okay, we'll hold in the pattern and see what it says.
You know, 'cause
Okay,
do you agree with that? By inference,
Oh, yeah.
it is included.
yeah. Yeah. But I didn't know we had it.
Oh, okay. So that, you know, I don't know what, just don't say anything to me.
You know, that's even worse than that. This was a meeting that could have been an email. This is an email about an email.
Yeah, it's fine.
We're waiting to put all the emails on the agenda. All we're doing is responding, it seems like.
What did we ever do before we had email?
The phone call, for the phone
Long
call.
gone.
Phone call to tell you the phone call coming?
Yeah,
And then you got a phone call afterwards to figure out what the phone call meant in the first place.
yes. And then before that, it was telegraphed.
On the express.
Actually,
The mailbag brings you the mailbag, to tell you about the mailbag that's coming.
is that while I was driving, from a board meeting I had this morning. I heard on the news that the state had that issue.
Tell you what they did, they had a meeting Sunday, they had a meeting yesterday, and the result of the meeting yesterday, they're gonna have a meeting tomorrow. Hey, you don't think that's true? It is.
They have meetings, have meetings.
Okay.
Thank you.
This is the state board that had this meeting now, not the staff up there.
Okay.
No other challenges, you can't do that except during the process.
So this doesn't really affect us anyway, it's only talking about
It's
state
voter
recount.
protest and elections.
That
1 through 3 definitely doesn't affect us. Five, protest election, not merely dispute the eligibility of vote. We knew that, county board of election, dismissed protest election, and merely disputes the eligibility of vote. No county board. This county. And a ballot cast, and a block, I wrote this to John.
I mean, the only one that does make any sense is 3, and it's already out of our hands anyways.
Yeah. Let me know when you're finished.
Okay, yes.
I think the only thing that affects us is 3, and that's already state board anyway.
Right, and 8 is the general guidance.
Yeah.
I haven't seen anything that affect anything we actively doing, just guidance. Okay. All right, thank
You
you.
all finished?
Yes,
Okay.
thank you.
Anybody wish to address the board?
I just have some questions.
Okay.
Do I understand that all of the absentee ballots that were either thrown out or for whatever reason are with the state?
No comment. We can't comment on that.
Can't comment on whether you sent them or not?
No. No comment. I'm sorry, we've been advised not to.
I understand, but my question is just, what does the state have
I understand.
as far as the absentee ballots, whether they were broken down into this or that or the other thing?
We can't.
They have jurisdiction over absentee mail-in, mail-in absentee ballots, and we've been instructed not to discuss any part of it.
Any part of it.
All right, I understand.
Anyone else? Go.
Do we have a canvas date?
No.
Any,
Have no idea.
wait for the state to tell you something, or?
That was what that was one thing this email
That's one
says.
thing about that.
It says no county can conduct a recount until directed to do so by the state. We've had blah, 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 blah.
State board had a meeting Sunday.
I know
They
that's
had another meeting yesterday. And the meeting yesterday, they determined to have a meeting tomorrow. And the basic thing they're going to address there is the Durham County issue, which I don't understand why it's taking so long, but
I'm sorry, this one doesn't have anything to do with canvas. It talks about doing recounts for the state, but we can't do a canvas until we've been directed by the state because of the absentees.
and they can't do a recount until all counties have canvassed.
Can you inquire to clarify? Because I'm not sure. I think some counties have done their canvas.
We can't canvas
Yes, we
because of
can't
absentee
canvass.
ballots.
Because
And again, it goes back to the question that he just asked.
We can't talk about it.
And I'm trying to get you to talk about it. I would just request that the board call the state for clarification and say, can we canvass now?
We already have. We can't canvass because of absentee ballots. So we're not trying to hide anything. We can't discuss the absentee ballots.
We're constantly asking for guidance.
I understand.
All we can do at this point is respond.
I wish they'd tell us something. We've asked them numerous times every day.
Numerous times, yeah.
But isn't it general information, not specific to this board though, from state that instead of in lieu of all counties canvassing at the specified time, that depending upon the number and status of the complaints and other challengers, that's being done, the state is issuing certain counties
I think so.
the power to go ahead and finish their, but it's individually being done, and it has been going on for more than a week now. So some have canvassed,
I think it has to do with some of the election protests that are still
Yes.
active.
right. And since we're in that category, we're still waiting for clarification on that.
Our last thing now is because of absentee ballots, as far as I understand. And that's
Then we
about
will
as
probably be the last one, simply because they're taking over our
You're right.
protest, and
well,
it is probably gonna take several days to get through what is in Raleigh actually.
Yeah,
Simple question, how long is the canvass expected to take for Bladen County?
you mean,
Once you start, how long does the canvass
couple
take?
hours, right?
Well, it all depends, and usually, I mean, now that we have some of the other things involved, I mean, you know, it's a possibility, it could be a day. I mean, you know, to get things prepared for, say, that afternoon or whatever. You have a lot of reports you got to print out, and the board has to come in and do an awful lot of signing. They got to look at numbers, because this is an audit process. This is considered an audit process until it's actually canvassed and it's stamped and sealed and whatever, you know.
The staff has a lot more work to do than we do.
Oh, yeah.
Normally, based on past experience, about 2-3 hours for us. Unless another glitch gets thrown in the machinery.
Hush.
Go ahead.
I said, hush, don't tell about more glitches.
Anyone else?
We don't need something else to pop up.
No one else? Okay, I have a motion to adjourn.
Moved.
Second.
Just in the right time.
That's all. Get along after me.
I hope I have one. Simple question.